keeping their footing on the icy pavements and their heads down against the wind that howled and buffeted the 4x4. The engine had been off all the time we'd been here, and it was like sitting in a fridge. Our breath billowed like low cloud as we waited. I kept visualizing how, when, and where I was going to do my stuff, and more importantly, what I was going to do if things got fucked up. Once the target has been selected, the basic sequence of a kidnap is nearly always the same. First comes reconnaissance, second abduction, third detention, fourth negotiation, fifth ransom payment, and finally release. Though sometimes that doesn't happen. My job was to plan and implement the first 3 phases. The rest of the task was out of my hands. 3 members of the Loud Tie and Braces Brigade from a private bank had approached me in London. They'd been given my name by an ex-regiment mate who now worked for one of the big security companies, and who'd been nice enough to recommend me when this particular commission had been declined. Britain, they said to me as we sat at a window table in the roof bar of the Hilton, looking down onto the gardens of Buckingham Palace, is facing an explosion in Russian mafia organised crime. London is a money-laundering haven. The ROC are moving as much as £20 billion through the city each year, and up to 200 of their senior players either live in Britain or visit regularly. The executives went on to say they'd discovered that millions had been channeled through Valentin Lebed's accounts at their bank in just 3 years. They didn't like that, and were none too keen on the thought of the boys with the blue flashing lights paying him a visit and seeing the name on all his paying-in slips. Their solution was to have Val lifted and taken to St. Petersburg, where, I presumed, they had either made arrangements to persuade him to move his account to a different bank, or to channel even more through them to make the risk more acceptable. Whichever, I didn't give a fuck, so long as I got paid. I looked over at Sergei. His eyes glinted as he stared at the traffic below us, and his Adam's apple moved as he swallowed. There wasn't anything left to say. We'd done enough talking during the 2-week build-up. It was now time to do. The Conference of European Council members was due to start in Helsinki in 2 days. Blue EU flags already lined the main roads, and large black convoys of Eurocrats drove around with motorcycle outriders, heading from pre-meeting to pre-meeting. The police had set up diversions to control the flow of traffic around the city, and orange reflective cones and barriers were springing up everywhere. I'd already had to change our escape routes twice because of it. Like all the high-class hotels, the Intercontinental was housing the exodus from Brussels. All the suits had been in the city since last week, wheeling and dealing, so that when the heads of state hit town, all they'd have to do was politely refuse Tony Blair's invitation to eat British beef at some dinner for the media, then leave. All very good. But for me, security around here was tighter than a duck's arse. Everything from sealed manholes to prevent bombs being planted to a heavy police presence on the streets. They would certainly have contingency plans for every possible event, especially armed attack. Sergei had a folding stock AK, a Russian automatic 7.62mm short assault rifle, under his feet. His cropped, thinning brown hair was covered by a dark blue woolen hat, and the old Soviet Army body armour he wore under his duvet jacket made him look like the Michelin Man. If Hollywood was looking for a Russian hardhead, Sergei would win the screen test every time. Late 40s, square jaw, high cheekbones and blue eyes that didn't just pierce, they chopped you into tiny pieces. The only reason he would never be a leading man was his badly pockmarked skin. Either he'd steered away from the Clearasil in his youth, or he'd been burned. I couldn't tell, and I didn't want to ask. He was a hard, reliable man, and one I felt it was okay to do business with, but he wasn't going to be on my Christmas card list. I had read about Sergei Lysenkov's freelance activities in intelligence service reports. He had been a member of Spetsnaz's Alpha Group, an elite of special forces officers within the KGB, who used to be deployed wherever Moscow's power was under threat or there were wars of expansion.